Alright, guys, I'm going to show you something that's, this is where books really get special. You know, this is my book collections of books that are more than 200 years old. Amazing. I have 5 examples here, but the youngest being here, a French book. I believe I can open her too. The Explanation of Angelo's Cultural Carine. This one is 1801, but this is the youngest one of the 200-year-old part of my collection. As we can see, if we can get a good look, it's 1801. That's 220 years old. 221 next year. And this one is in French. My next youngest is actually in English. It's old, but it works. It's good. It's in good condition. This is one from 1794. So that's 227, I believe. And yes, it's in English. It's amazing. So it was in London. So it's very, very possible that an American could have read this. But there's something that's very, very cool about this book. That the S's, if we look right here, we'll see that the capital S's are actually F's. And this doesn't just not occur in one of the English books. This one, as I was thinking originally that this occurred in, this book only because books were very, very cheap were very, very expensive back then, and they needed to cut corners. So maybe they used an F to, basically, have a cheaper book, and they would have to convert it. But this isn't the case. That goes to my next oldest. That is another English, but this one was rebound. And it's still in great condition, very great condition. And as we see, this is actually backwards. Grab it by the spine right here, so that you don't hurt the spine or the binding. Even though this is rebound, I still want it in pristine condition. See, it was rebound in paper. It was rebound. But as we see it, and we see right here, it's still the original paper that was used. And as we see, it was in London again. And we still have a little bit of French in there. But as I look even more and more deep, we'll start to see there are some S's. Alright. And we'll see it. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. See? If can't really willingly submit, it's submit. See, this doesn't occur. This does occur in multiple ones. That is pretty cool. So that tells me that it's just not a one thing. My next one is the first book I got from the 1700s, and I don't know. I have a personal affinity for this one because this one right here is a gospel book. That's French, of course, but it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. 1753. And if we look, it makes that creaking sound, which is kind of cool. But if we dig deeper, this one's 268, by the way. Let's see if we can find it. This is the index. But then we stumble onto this. Look at the art. Look at that art. That art is nearly 300 years old, and it looks like it's still great. But there's still an older book, which is this one. This one is my oldest and yet smallest of books. It's even smaller than, wait for a minute, it's even smaller than My Domestic Tales and Allegories from 1848. This is it's really old, but this one's still was my smallest. This one's still cool, but this is my smallest and oldest book right here. This is another French one. I have a popular, thing with French. I don't know. They're cheaper, I guess. So, yeah, I have to be careful with this one, but it's tightly bound. That's all I can say. It's tightly bound. If we look, it was made in Paris in 1747. 275. Beautiful art. Yeah, and then tome second means this is the second volume. Yes, but it can still be opened gently and still read with enjoyment. Just to give you a pure scale of how small that book is, and you may ask yourself, why is the book so small? Why is any of these books, not bigger? It's because paper was very expensive back then, and we actually do have a sample from one of the books that was actually used as a bookmark of actual paper from back then. And it's this. This was very expensive, and printing was very expensive and labor intensive. If you want to know more, you can always look up colonial presses from Williamsburg and such and so. This is it. So I hope you enjoyed my video and enjoyed my collection. Thank you.